Hello everyone,
Hello.
Welcome to the last episode of Tides of Change from CGTN. I'm Jianhua.
I'm Yuan. This is our very last day and very last live stream in our Tides of Change journey.
It's been half a month.
It's been, yes, 2 weeks.
2 weeks exactly, half a month, and now we are on an island.
Called Nan'ao.
Nan'ao Island. And
tell us a little bit about where this island is.
The island is in Shantou, so basically in Guangdong province, and if you have been following our live streams, you know that we have been through the southern coastal cities in China,
including the provinces of
Hainan, Guangxi Autonomous Region, and now
also we're in Guangdong.
And today what we have?
Well, just look at us. Take a guess.
Yeah,
what
take
are
a
we
guess.
Doing?
If we move the camera around, you can see so many beautiful bottles.
Right. So
it's a myriad of colors over here.
In line of our Tides of Change style, we begin this live stream on the ocean, but today
and we'd like to end it on the ocean.
Right.
Here. And okay, so probably some tips. And this place, you know, this is the juncture between the South China Sea and East China Sea. I think that is a very good place where we end this, I mean, we would call it the first phase of Tides of Change. And of course, there will be more to come for this year. Yeah.
We are also traveling to the Donghai, the Eastern Sea, and also the
East China Sea and Yellow Sea and Bohai Sea over there. Of course, that will happen probably in a few months' time, and absolutely we'll let you know. And today we are on this rafter. Yeah, if we roam the camera, and you know, we're on this rafter.
Actually, we've been on several boats several times on this journey, but this is the very first time the Tides of Change journey that Jianhua and I have actually been on a proper fishing boat.
A fishing boat, or we call it a rafter, a fishing boat.
Yes.
You have been on the fancy ships before, and this is simple and it's tiny, but I feel happy.
Right. So we're gonna answer the question that we just asked our audience. What are these bottles all about? And to answer that, shall we welcome our guest?
Yeah, of course. Now, of course, today we are pleased to be joined by Mr. Cheng. Mr. Cheng, welcome to the program.
Mr. Cheng, 程大哥，谢谢你来参与我们的节目。Thank you.
Would you like to say hi to our viewers around the world?
自我介绍一下吧。
可以。
叫什么名字啊，程大哥？
陈夏。
陈夏，来看我们的镜头。
Okay.
陈孝大哥。
陈夏。
So Mr. Cheng doesn't speak English, and we'll provide translation in our conversation.
Right.
And today it's a little bit windy, we have to say. Let's turn around.
It's very windy.
It's
That's
very
why we have our caps on,
and we have this sock over there.
We have this little furry coat outside of our mics so that you can hear our voice.
Yeah,
if
you cannot
hear clearly, leave us a message on our social media platforms to let us know.
Yeah.
But 程大哥, can you tell us what these are all about? 给我们讲一下，我们现在看到的这些是什么东西？我觉得很多内地的观众朋友可能都没有见过。
哦，咱们就是都是养的那个太平洋牡蛎。
So these are Pacific oysters exactly. But how about the bottles that we see that are floating on the sea? 就是这些瓶子的话，为什么会有这么多瓶子呢？
就是从去年开始嘛，咱们这边南澳政府就是推广那个环保嘛。
推广环保。
对，推广那个环保。以前就是用的那个就是那个泡沫球。
Right. So these bottles, should we call them buckets or bottles?
Bottles.
Bottles. They're actually for environmental protection purposes because in the past we used to use these styrofoam for oyster farming.
Okay, they actually serve as buoys. You know the buoys that are floating on the sea. Okay, but underneath we have something that we'd like to introduce to our viewers here. And of course, for environmental regions, we used to use something like this before, but this is made of plastic.
You can see how they're.
Yeah, and this could be used for how long? 这个一般能够用多长时间？
这个就是3年左右。
About 3 years. And how about the plastic bottles we have on the sea? 这些瓶子呢？
这些瓶子可以用到4到5年。
Okay.
然后降低那个成本。
Okay, so 4 to 5 years for these bottles.
And then you can recycle them.
And you can recycle them, and they can be melt and then made into some other plastic products that we use. Okay.
Exactly. So
Let me
why
put this
don't we,
down.
Jianhua, let Mr. Cheng show us
Yeah.
these wonderful oysters?
These oysters over here, and now we're gonna use.
看看这些那个是牡蛎还是生蚝
Okay.
对对是
We're gonna use the hook, right? 我们要用这钩子勾起来吗？
啊，
Okay.
可以。
We use the hook, and you
Is it
will
heavy?
see- Yeah, it is heavy, of course. You see lines of bottles over there, the buoys, and what's underneath
Wow.
are these oysters. It's a
Just take
little
a
bit
look.
dangerous. Okay. Let me pull it
Ah,
harder
sorry.
so that I can see more.
很
of-
锋利的哦。
Ah, it's sharp. Be careful.
Are these quite grown-up ones or baby ones?
这是长大了吗？还是
这个还是半成品的。
半成品？
对对对。
They are teenagers now.
Teenagers.
They're still growing at this point, of course.
Ah.
And they are, yeah, probably a little bit different from the oysters we see in the restaurants. Because they are still growing. I'm quite curious about like the number of oysters on each line of these. 这个是一个上面有多少牡蛎啊？
一个上面就是几十个的。
几十个。
对对
So
对。
they have dozens of oysters on one.
Dozens of oysters. Can you have more?
Wow.
Pull harder.
It's hard to pull it up. 这是可以拉上来的吗？
可以拉上来吗。
拉不起来的，
拉不
上来
拉不起来的
啊，
是连在一起的。
啊，
连在一起的。
对对对，
它是
是
海底
平
连着的吗
不是平掉的，这边绳子串到那边绳子的。
Okay, so they are all connected over there. If we can see the buoys now, the blue bottles over there. There are so many. I would like to see that myself. Okay. I've never known that actually this is how we foster oysters.
Actually, I was just chatting with Mr. Cheng, and he told us that the eggs are actually
Wow.
hatched in the laboratory, right, in a human-controlled environment.
Human controlled environments, and now we can see it's over here.
Wow.
Wow. Now, if we move the camera over here, if we zoom in a little bit, and we can see the oysters fresh off the boat.
Fresh out of the ocean.
Yeah. Wow.
这是一个吗？
这是一个牡蛎吗？
这是一个吗？
一个脑壳剩了这么多，
啊，
一个脑壳。
老壳。
老壳。
Okay, so I think we need to talk about this.
Yeah. So let me ask you this question. Usually, when we eat oysters, there is only one shell.
Half of the
It is one shell. They have two. Or
Right,
it
it's
is one,
it's
half.
supposed to be this way, right?
Yeah,
but usually
but you
when we
have
eat
half.
it, it's only half.
Where did the other half go? You know.
So can we ask Mr. Cheng to tell
那
us?
就是为什么只有一半呢？那一半去哪儿了呢？就是我们经常吃牡蛎的时候。
对，
啊
就治另外一半就是合规格的，就拿来培苗。
Ah.
So the other half is used to foster oysters.
Right, so the answer
Okay.
is here. This is where the other half went.
Okay.
So-
the other half is here, and usually we foster some new oysters over here. And where is the parent? 它这是母壳
对，
啊，
老壳。
这个是老壳。
So this big chunk here, just let's zoom in to have a closer look. So this big chunk here would be what Mr. Cheng called an old shell.
Yeah, old shell. We call it actually the parent.
The parent shell.
The parent shell, and then you have some babies. Okay.
So that they can attach
Over
the
there.
eggs onto this parent shell so that the babies can actually grow.
I'm curious about like what the eggs were like from the very beginning. 这个以前它那个小的生出来的那个卵是什么样子的？
就是很微小的那种，就像那个应该看不清的那一种，就像微尘那样。
那它
Okay.
那你们把它放到这个上面来的时候，
对，放这个脑壳
什么样
下水去给它附着在这上面。
So they're barely visible. The
Right.
eggs of the oysters are barely visible, and then you put them on the parent shell or the old shell, as what he said.
and then they
you're gonna
start
have
to
some,
hatch. They
yeah,
have a
they start
bed to hatch.
Yeah, and then they will be attached to the parent shell over here, and then you have more of them. 那一个老壳的话，可以长出来多少个新的？
就这个不定的，有时候它这一颗是附上是几十个，有时候就是附上是10多个。
哇，
这不规则的。
Okay, so that depends. Sometimes at 30, sometimes only 10. That depends on. 那是什么因素决定的呢？ What are the factors that decides the number of the hatched eggs, all of the parent shell? 就是什么决定它生多生少呢？
哦，它那个卵在水里面，就是底层跟水面是密度不一样的啊，所以你在水面上的壳就护得少啊，底层的就护得多
啊。
Wow.
So if we put it in the ocean, then more eggs will have a chance to attach to the parent shell
on the bottom
and hatch.
Right.
But if we're on land, then they have a lesser of a chance to be able to survive, and the eggs will have a less chance of survival.
Or something like, okay, you have more shells down there. I mean, if it is on the bottom, probably you get the chance of having more of them. But to the sea surface, then less, right? Okay. Well, that is good to know. 这个您是有好多是也要远销到中国以外的吗？
有一部分是销往国外的。
Some of them are sold overseas. 一部分大概有多少啊？
这个也说不清啊，这个也说不清，
也不一定哪些国家。
咱们现在也大多数是销往咱们这国内大城市啊。
然后是国外的话是销往哪些？
国外应该是日本啊，这附近咱们东南亚这最大。
So we export to.
So we export to Southeast Asia or Japan. Yeah. So when it comes to Japan, we know. You know, the nuclear waste that has been brought into the sea.
Right.
And then probably that would boost your business, so there should be more, you know.
If their waters
oysters
are polluted,
exported to Japan.
Right.
那如果要是现在日本有这些核废水，它排到海里边了，是不是我们往日本销往的会更多呢？会吗？
那应该会，因为毕竟咱们这边，他们那边。说到底就是排放了，他们民众也会顾虑嘛。所以到时候咱们这边肯定订单多一点。
Okay, so he is telling me that probably the order will go up, because the waste nuclear water has been poured into the sea over there.
Right.
Okay, let's put them back into the sea. Hopefully.
程大哥，你现在的产量怎么样 ？Tell us about your
production, the yield.
那个产量。就是每亩嘛，咱们算每亩。
你有多少亩？
就几百亩。
Several hundred. So can you convert this into hectares?
No.
Well, how? I mean, okay. So when it comes to 亩 how about hectares? 公顷有多少啊？
公顷就换算不了了。
一亩的话是多少？是算成一亩的？
咱们就是以按那个上那个面积的亩，666。
660. So one mu would be about 660 square meters.
Okay. So one mu is around 660 square meters.
Right.
Okay. So that's a lot. And then how about your production? How much can you produce for each mu? 然后每亩的话能产多少？
每亩咱们算下来就是一亩差不多就是像这样就两条绳子嘛，两条绳子的产量差不多就是4、5千公斤这样。
4、5千公斤。
4,000 to 5,000 kilograms.
Kilograms.
That's
that
per
is a lot.
year?
Okay, now he just give me this metric for mu because we don't have the notion of that. And for each line, probably each line that is one mu.
Right.
And for each line. Then you're going to produce 4,000 to 5,000 kilograms of oysters down here. Wow, this is great. I know apart from oysters, you also have some seaweed. 我们除了这个 oysters， 除了这个牡蛎，我们还有一些 seaweed 是吧？还有一些这个龙须草。Can we go there and take a look? 我们可以去那边看一看吗？
可以，咱们到那边。
This is a type of seaweed, but
this is
we do want to see them surviving in the ocean.
But this is dried apparently. I'm going to see the real ones, the fresh ones. Okay. And now we need to start the boat again, and then we're going to go to the region where we have
so
the
I think we should hold on tight because it's going to get a little bit wavy.
Okay, it's going to be a little bit wavy, and hopefully our cameraman can stand still over here. Someone help.
好，
OK，
那我们开船吧，陈大
对
哥。，
就飘到那边就可以。
飘到那边
对对对，
海
飘到那边
草那边。
对对
OK
对，那龙须菜那个。
We're gonna check out the seaweed. What is it called again? That is Latin. And it's just short-brain Oyster shrimp.
Good job, Jianhua, but that means nothing to us.
Yeah, that is very much like Greek to you.
Right,
Probably.
and
Okay, so as we start the boat and we are going there to see the seaweed hostel, everyone, let me check out the comments on social media
you
platforms.
do that. I do want to ask Mr. Cheng though.
Okay.
程大哥，咱们这些不同颜色的瓶子是有不同的含义吗？
没有，就是美光。
Okay, so these different colors don't represent anything. It's just for the purposes of looking good. And it does look good. It looks like a bunch of balloons, right, Jianhua, floating on the ocean. 差不多，程大哥，从哪儿到哪儿是您的地呀？
这
Okay, so we're going there. Hold still, hold still. Okay. So we have got some comments on Facebook, and
It's quite.
we've got some comments over here. That is SH Shahidojaman. Okay, hopefully I haven't pronounced your name correctly. And where are you right now? So we are on the Nan'ao Island,
right.
that is in South China's Guangdong province. And now it is basically an oyster or seaweed farm. Okay, and where we would like to bring you how the local farmers or fishermen grow or nurture oysters, and we just saw not oysters, and now we're going to see the seaweed,
Right.
which is also called short-brain Oyster quince.
Quince.
That is Latin.
But in Chinese, it's called
龙须草.
龙须草. Literal translation is dragon whisker.
Like dragon whiskers, dragon whiskers beard, or dragon beard, dragon whiskers
Right,
grass.
right,
over there.
right. So,
And
let's
now
check out
let's
these
see
seaweed.
why they are called dragon whiskers. Wow.
Wow, 程大哥，这个还是一条线都是那么过去的吗？
对对对对。
This is all the way connected to the other side.
Uh-huh.
And it's a little bit, we're gonna grab a little bit.
Uh-huh. And this is what we call 龙须草
Dragon
in
whiskers.
Chinese, or dragon whiskers.
I think some
Very
places
much like
also-
whiskers I put it here. I'm gonna have some whiskers.
You look so pretty, Jianhua.
Oh, thank you very much.
Well,
You want to have some whiskers?
here I go. Here I go.
You're a dragon lady.
You're a wonderful colleague.
Yeah.
But I think some places in China also call this hair vegetable.
Hair vegetable.
Fan,
Because it's very much
because
like
it's
hair.
Very much like a strand of hair.
But I think the apt name is dragon whiskers. If you give it a closer look, I'm gonna let my cameraman zoom in a little bit so that you can see that. You can see the tentacles of the hairs over here. It's very much like, you know, whiskers of a dragon. I mean, that is a legendary
Legendary animal.
Legendary animal in Chinese history. Oh, now in
And it's
Chinese
a bit
culture.
jelly in texture.
It's a bit jelly, yeah.
And that's why it's also used to make capsules.
Capsules, yeah. They can be dried first and then ground into powder, and then they are made into the capsules that we consume. And also they can be also made into cold dish, like a cold dish, probably with some dressing, and that's it. And they can eat it something like salad. Okay, I would like to try it. You know, it's a little bit. 这个是
Are you
这可以直
sure
接
you
吃
can
的
do
吗？
that? 程大哥，这可以直接吃吗？
Is it edible?
这个直接吃应该有腥味。
有腥味。
对对
Yeah,
对。
it's a little bit fishy, I have to say. I just tasted it. Do you want to try it?
No, thank you.
No. But anyways, it can be made into salads, so it should be fine. And also, and you can ground it when it's dried into powder, and then you can feed it to abloons. You know?
So multi-purpose.
Multi-purpose.
这个是经济作物嘛，算它是你的主要的一种收入的。
对我们村就是这两种养，
春秋。
我们村里就牡蛎跟那个龙须菜是这两个品种。
Okay, so for this village, they grow oysters, they
And
nurture
they grow
oysters,
this
and
kind
they
of
grow
dragon
this kind
whisker,
of, grass.
grass vegetable as their main economic crop.
And that is also helping them, you know, alleviate poverty. That is one of the biggest campaigns that China has been promoting all through the past few years.
Right.
Okay.
So I do want to ask Mr. Cheng, 程大哥，您记得当您小的时候，作为一个渔民的生活是什么样的？
以前小的时候就是我们就是以捕鱼为生，那生活苦得很。
坐到这儿了。
没事没事。
We're inviting Mr. Cheng to sit down with us.
It's a little bit windy.
好，您继续，程大哥。小的时候。
小的时候那生活比不了。
比不了。
对，自从以前就是以捕鱼为生嘛，所以那个时候生活跟现在咱们自从引进了这2个品种进来以后，咱们村就经济就。
So they lived on fishing before when he was a small boy, and now they have introduced oysters and also this kind of dragon whiskers grass, or we call it strawberry oysters growth.
In Latin.
In Latin. Okay, so life has been quite different now. 就是您是从什么时候开始种的呢？
我们从97、8年开始吧，大规模应该是0几年开始。
0几年。
对。
Okay.
但是那个时候就是政府鼓励我们养的，从那开始。
So nearly 20 years ago, and the local government has been promoting, you know.
Shortly after the turn of the century, because the local government encouraged them to do this kind of large-scale oyster and seaweed farming.
Yeah, so they have been doing this, and then life has been quite different compared with before. 那就以前生活变了很多，是吗？
对。自从我们改成养殖以后，就生活就逐渐就好起来。
Okay, so everyone has been doing this, and then so their life has been changed totally. So 每个人这个村里边都是要养这些的吗？
对，我们主要的经济来源就是养殖。
OK。
那您现在1年的收入大概有多少？
收入大概就是像我这样啊，就是10多万、20万那样。
10多万、20万。
对。
Okay.
Several hundred thousand.
A year. Oh, that's good enough. I think that is like 10,000 kwai, 10,000 yuan in each month.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, about
so,
that.
Yeah, that is very comfortable. I mean, living here in this village.
Living here in this small county.
So speaking of poverty alleviation, and of course now we have colleagues now, Xinchen and Omar there, who is sitting in a farmer's house drinking tea.
Right.
And that is also part of their job. I mean, the local villagers have been doing to better their lives over here. Now, Xinchen and Omar, take it over.
Take it over, and that's goodbye from Jianhua and I on the South China Sea journey, but we're gonna see you in the East China Sea and the...
Pretty soon.
Pretty soon, yes.
Yeah, in about 3 months' time. Bye-bye.
Taoyuan and Jianhua, I guess they had plenty fun on the ocean and oysters and sea plants.
This is the second time in our Tides of Change series we've got to explore and kind of play with the oysters. I'm CGTN reporter Omar Khan, and you are?
I'm Xinchen with CGTN.
Nice to meet you for the first time.
Oh, nice to meet you.
I
Yeah,
think it's the first time we're live streaming together.
this is absolutely our first time to live stream together. And where are we? Again, we're on an island.
We're on Nan'ao Island, Nan'ao Dao, which is a part of the southern city of Shantou, located in Guangdong province. And I don't know if we're getting an aerial view. We can wave to that drone up there. We're on this island. We're here exploring tea and tea leaves in the process of creating tea for consumer consumption.
Absolutely, and the island actually is one of the third largest island here in Guangdong province, and it's the largest island actually. It's a whole county.
Yes.
The Nan'ao is a county. And right here we have the tea.
Check it out.
Let's check it out.
Right. I feel you, based in Sichuan, based in southwest China, you probably have a lot more knowledge about tea than I do. I hope our viewers today, you guys don't rely on me. I think Xinchen is going to be the connoisseur of tea leaves today. So you've learned about the 800-year-old history of these. You told me something special about this island. And what was that historical process? How did tea come to be here on Nan'ao?
So it actually is it doesn't look like our regular tea.
No, it doesn't. It looks like a leaf.
Yeah, it's just a leaf. It's a regular leaf. It's about 800 years ago, and the locals started to cultivate it. And just by accident, they brewed the tea, just without like making it into tea, without the fermentation or not. And they just brewed the tea leaves, and they found actually the water coming from the tea, from the leaf. It tastes like tea.
You could drink it. Maybe you want to take this out and show the cameraman?
Sure, yeah.
Let's get a close-up shot here. And we're going to be learning more about the tea producing process here in this very small sort of county of Nan'ao. We're going to be checking out the drying process.
Yeah.
And this is one of the main drying racks here. This tea actually still feels a bit moist. There's a bit of moisture in this.
I mean, there are multiple processes to make
step by step to be doing that.
To roll it, to stir fry it a little bit to dry it.
There are multiple sort of instances of use it. Before we go inside, I want to ask you before, in your time of coverage across China, have you ever covered tea before?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You have? So you've seen different processes, the usage of it. I remember one time, also in Guangdong province, I was at a tea farm where they were able to not only produce tea for consumption as we drink, but also different types of oil, shampoo, creams, and it's quite multi-purpose what you can do with tea oil and tea leaves.
It's good for acne. Tea tree oil and tea tree.
Kind of rub that into your face.
And it's good for sanitation. It can deferment.
Deferment?
It's good for inflammation.
Okay. So there's some health benefits from using tea, from consuming it in different ways.
And it also kind of raises, or allegedly, it raises people's metabolic
Green
rate.
tea does that, right?
Or all teas.
All
because
teas
of the caffeine.
Okay.
And that helps us to kind of burn a little bit more fat.
I should probably
go to
drink,
the gym often.
I should probably drink a bit more. But so we're making our way in.
Yeah, that's the tea factory, and we're also going to drink some of the tea, have a little taste afterwards. But I found quite interesting because through our journey, Tides of Change, we've been talking about a blue economy, ocean economy, right?
Maritime development, import, export, some of the tourist elements we've especially seen in the province of Hainan.
Yes.
And then as we move to the Guangxi-Zhuang Autonomous Region, we saw the oyster farm with Jianhua and Taozi just got to experience. And now we're here. Your journey also changed along this time as well.
Yeah, absolutely, And then we also talk about mangroves and environmental protections to keep the sea clean. But also about agricultural products, just like tea. It actually linked with the blue economy and the ocean economy because it's a part of a trade, right?
I think some people would be asking,
when we're doing
Tides
tea,
of Change, what are we doing at a tea production center? It is part of the economy. It is, well, mind you, we're on an island near the sea, really surrounded by the sea, I should say. So there's a bit of a connection.
And then actually the sea, the climate, the environment here, the weather produce some, can actually
perfect circumstances.
It gave some
for harvesting.
properties.
I don't know if our drone caught it, but the tea you said is mostly grown on these hills.
Yes.
Not in a traditional sort of tea production because these look more like leaves.
Yes.
Not what you've seen before. So it's an interesting shot to see that. It's a unique type of tea we're harvesting here in Nan'ao.
Actually we'll make it into kind of like a oolong tea.
Okay.
So after we finish the tea, it looks probably similar to.
Let's go in. Let's go in.
Let's go inside and to find out.
You're very eager to get in here. You just walked away from me. You just ran off.
Because I can smell the tea.
It's warm in here. You have the oven. We're gonna see the process. So look, where's step number one?
Look, we're there. I'm just trying to find it. Maybe someone is really busy here.
You 老板.
Hello. So
hello.
He's the owner of this tea factory and Yu Gaoyang. 于老板，我们现在做的是什么啊？这个
现在已经是上青晒完青进来。对。
Oh, so they have to bake under the sun.
So this is
after they freshly picked from the tree.
这是已经干净了吗？还是没有？
不是，这个是刚晒完青。
刚晒多长时间？
晒了有这个天得看天气。这个刚才差不多晒了半个小时吧。
平时的时间半个小时。
对，晒了半个小时。
就是有太阳好的时候半个小时。
对，太阳如果
30 minutes in the sun. But as you mentioned, you have to check the weather. If it's raining, if it's cloudy, if there's an overcast, it's going to be dependent. So this was already out there for 30 minutes.
Yes, for half an
hour. Now they're putting it on this sort of bamboo wooden sort of disc.
然后我们下一步是做什么呢？
下一步就是放上架子，然后就浪青。
浪青是什么？
浪
青说是碰青吧。
碰青是怎么解释？碰青。
碰青也就是让它酝酿吧，然后释发出香味。
是发酵的过程吗？
不是发酵。
Just be
let it sit.
Yeah, sit there for a while. Get the aroma.
这个第二个部分还是半个小时还是几天
？1个小时。就比如说我们碰青要5道工序，然后第5道工序是杀青，杀完青就发酵，发完酵得差不多得6个小时吧，就是隔天再炒。
6 hours. So they need to rest for actually 6 hours. There are 5 different steps doing just being rest the tea there.
Okay. Do you want to help them out? Maybe.
Sure. Let's do it.
We're doing nothing here.
We're doing it. Making ourselves useful, right?
那这6个小时必须得在室内还是在室外？
在室内。
Okay, so must be indoors. The 6-hour process
是不能有见阳光了吧？
Because it was already outside for 30 minutes. The next step, 6 hours indoors
in the dark.
In the dark. Okay, that's also a key feature.
来，我们来吧。
OK OK。
可以看一下我们这边的制茶过
The
程。
oven.
Yeah, that's the oven.
Okay, let's check that out.
这个是啥？这是
这是
最后面过程了，对吧？
对，这是
That's the later stuff.
Okay, this is a step down the road. Okay.
这边是炒茶，我们就是发完酵就炒茶嘛，就是炒青，炒完青出来就把它揉捻。
So they cook it.
Oh, this is where it's cooked.
Yes.
那哪个温度多高呢
250度左右。
250, around 250 degrees Celsius. That's probably you don't want to put your hand in.
But how long? 要多久？
要多久呢？
差不多4-5分钟吧。
Just
4 to 5 minutes. Yeah, it's quite. 然后呢是放在这儿嘛？
对，炒完
它从哪出来啊？
它跟那个可以倒
从后面出来还是这里出来的？
从这里出来的。
也是从这啊。
因为它这个是可以反转的。
So the pot can actually, because we can see that it's actually, it can turn it the other way, and then it goes out.
那我可以摸一下，这个应该现在很热。
对，现在很热，因为还有你们节目效果嘛，它是刚进去的时候再出来的。
Okay. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so it's a bit of a sped up process
Yeah.
today, just so our viewers can get a unique look. 那这些茶叶都是本地的，都是南澳的。
对。
那山头另外的地方还有这些茶叶还是没有？
有其他的山头都有。
Okay, so these tea leaves are not only exclusive to Nan'ao Island.
Oh, for the plant is only
The plant.
The plant
but
is
the
here.
tea leaves or the tea.
The finished products can be found elsewhere and even globally. That we're going to talk about it later. But what's next step?
What's
我们下一个是什么？就是我们炒完
炒完
这是炒过的对吧？
对，这是炒完
So
的。
this is actually the proper look.
Okay.
After 4 or 5 minutes in the pot.
there.
Yeah, coming out.
Okay. Well, it's warm. It's still warm.
香的吧？
Oh, it smells so nice. Oh my god.
You see?
清香。
It smells so good.
Now it smells like tea.
Yeah.
It's not a leaf anymore. It's actual tea.
再下一步是
下一步就是上晒摊。
So they have to put it back on the.
这个是要什么？是
领导。
Xinchen, you can cut.
Yeah.
You have to help them out. Oh.
But I mean, what's the proper way? 我们是要什么？要这部分我们先解释一下，
对对
你知道吗？
为什么你是这样
对，
分开的
要很均匀。
So we need to put it evenly.
？Spread on this
因为
platform.
待会要上完筛子后要进烤炉里边，
He's right. It is quite clumped up
要
and
把它的
sticky
水分给
together.
烤掉。
So the thing why that we want to distribute it evenly just for it to better to evaporate the
Quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's all clumped up, it's going to probably.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an interesting sort of technique.
这个
I want to do it.
这个
我试一下。Okay, 1,
2.
这个得筛的特别均匀，它受热才会均匀。
So because the oven they are going to bake it so to make the water go away.
Okay, and that will sort of evaporate all the water
Yes.
content. 我来。我们做的怎么样啊？
要这样子甩，它
甩才可以
烘干的时候，它茶的条形才会稍微直一点，然后漂亮
会
一点。
漂亮一点。
So why they're doing this because they're making it straighten that.
这样甩出来，它茶的条形稍微会直一点。
Oh, so there's a technique to how to spread out these.
Yeah. 这个可以进烤炉了。
已经可以了。
So this is already.
Yeah.
Xinchen, you're a bit clumped up over there. Maybe.
This is good. 这是可以的吗？都可以的吗？
对。
好。This is a really
这个
authentic.
就是木头的就能放烤炉里啊。
这是竹，
So it's bamboo.
Yes.
就直接可以放到烤炉
可以
里啊。
可以。
So, and it's actually oven approved.
Okay. So we're gonna. Oh, do you have any gloves or?
我们就直接放进去啊。
放下面 OK
啊。What's the temperature like?
这个也是凉。
多少度啊？里面是？
这边有温度，一般剩下的话是130左右，120。
It's about 130 degrees Celsius.
然后要蒸多久呢？
一般就是15分钟左右。
OK， 这是15分钟。OK。
这边看一下温度，这边的温度。
OK.
That's the
Thermometer, yes. It's a very authentic sort of experience about producing this tea here.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time that I actually tried the thing myself because I love to drink a lot of tea. And I've seen this many times. This is the first time actually I think I contribute a little bit.
We're heading out, right?
Yes, we're heading out.
Let's say thank you. We'll bring him with us. He's gonna have a drink.
He's going with us.
来，我们喝一杯吧。
我们来感受一下这个。
哦，好，咱们外宾试一下茶。
好呀，好呀，
试一下可以啊。
试一下茶香。
So, but I want to show this. The clay pot is one of the traditional way how they're going to boil the water.
And there's all the sort of stones underneath. I've been watching this clay pot this entire time, and it's been that's retained its heat. The charcoal has retained its heat.
Yeah,
very cute. Very
so
nice.
let's do the tea thing.
Little sampling.
We're sampling. We're sampling.
We're missing two of our guests right now. We're trying to get them to join us now. 好，于老师你好，你好，你好，你好，你好，你可以坐中间那边。OK， 谢谢。I'll take a seat here. You'll be right there.
Sure. Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Okay. Okay. 还有于老板，我们
好。So as I mentioned to our viewers, my tea knowledge is quite limited. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're drinking more coffee.
More of a coffee guy. Let's check out the products then.
So this is the tea they call it Song Cha. So about this village, because we are in a village of the Nan'ao County on the Nan'ao Island. The village only has like about 300 people. But then the whole village can make about 4 million RMB
in revenues from this industry, correct?
Yeah, for tea growing, and that's something that we're on an island. The island is predominantly about like ocean economy and blue economy, but then there's something more about its land that can create another steady streams of revenue.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So right here we have Yu Chengjiang, and he's actually a village official.
Yes.
And taking charge of many things here. And of course, we have the owner of this tea farm, Yu Gaoyang. So welcome to our program. 我们首先来感受这个茶吧。我们现在这茶有哪些不同的品种 ？What are some of different types of the tea？ 我们的不同的种类有哪些？
我们不同种类就有，我们是不同品种有10几个品种。
So you're like 10 different kinds of the tea。我们能看到我们这个茶叶，我们
可以
这里边有
高
米茶，对。
I can't open this.
我薄啊。
Oh, it's this one is a product right here. You can put this right here.
这个是哪个品种啊？
这个是鸭屎香。
什么香？
鸭屎香。
鸭屎香。
对对对。
鸭屎香。
对对对。
就鸭子的鸭。
对对对对。
You're laughing at you're about to give me a translation. I'm not sure. Can I sniff?
Yeah.
Maybe we can get a close up first. 来一个特写吧。This is a finished product.
这也是乌龙茶。
对对，乌龙茶。
So it's oolong tea, but then it's longer because it has like bigger leaves that as we saw. Yeah, it's pretty long. Because for a lot of oolong tea that we saw, it's like a little ball. 其他乌龙茶其实有时候都是卷起来的嘛。
它就是揉捻嘛，刚才是揉捻把它揉起来，卷起来。
但这个是为什么是一根一根的？我们这边
是因为这个是乌龙茶里面的一种，是单丛啊，因为单丛茶是属于乌龙类。
啊。So can we try this out?
可以尝一下吗？
可以尝一下吗？
可以。尝一
下。
I think there's a process for preparing the tea, which is standard across not only China but Asia. Washing the tea set, washing the cups.
To warm the cup
yes.
first, and
then the first cup of tea you don't drink. You just put it in.
Or it depends on what kind of tea. Sometimes.
I'm trying to think of. I always see the way we drink in Guangdong. Maybe it's different from you guys in Chengdu. Maybe there's a bit of a difference.
Yeah.
But the first one you kind of warm up and flavorize the pot.
Yeah, and
then on the
smell
second
it
one.
First.
Yes.
Yeah.
So is this a tea you're familiar with?
It's oolong tea, but I've never drank this tea before. Okay. And it's my first time actually. When I first visited the island, that's the first time that I actually come to know this tea.
Awesome. Yeah. It's a very rural experience to our Tides of Change series.
Yeah. An island.
On an island.
Yeah. Oh, I can see the
color.
Yeah, the color is pretty gray. It's very gray.
那方便问一下你们的产品，这个蚂蚁想买一个盒子多少钱？现在
这个盒子是2两半。
It's about 125 grams.
我们成品
价格呢？
价格1斤是300块钱。
1 kilogram is 3,000 renminbi.
No, 1 kilogram is like
300. 300块钱。
300块1斤。
300
1斤 that's half a kilogram. So for
okay, 那公斤 okay, sorry.
So that's about like almost like $100 for per.
I think a bit less. Okay, but yeah.
Per
okay.
kilogram. Yeah.
Would you say that's a
80.
standard?
I think it's more of a premium product. I would
Maybe.
say. Yeah, it's on the pricier side, and I think the production is limited. 我们一年能产多少斤啊？
一年整个村产量是2万多斤。
So we only produce like about
20,000, 2万
Yeah.
20,000 斤 or 公斤2万公斤
2万斤
2万斤。
So okay 10,000 okay.
Yeah.
那你们的产品是给中国买的还是全世界都可以卖？
全世界都可以买。
那你们是在天猫、京东买的产品吗？
不是，现在是主要是那个茶农自己这个销售途径是一个亲戚朋友，这个亲戚朋友
So it's like word.
因为我们的
Yeah, through recommendation.
Yeah, where it's like really about distributors. So what I found out is actually for this kind of tea, it doesn't really have a huge presence on the internet
Right.
or on e-commerce platforms. But what I learned, let's try it first. Yeah.
你们想拿？你们
You should go
谢谢
first.
谢谢。
It smells just 乌龙 tea.
你们也来，
先闻。
谢谢谢谢。It's smooth.
Yeah, and I can taste some like flowery taste.
I'm getting a very nice soothing oolong flavor. But he did mention it can be purchased overseas.
Yes.
They do have it.
And that's the story, like, because right here the island is connected with the city, the
Yes.
landlocked region, the mainland, with a like 1 kilometer long bridge, and that bridge costs about like over almost like 200 million US dollars.
Wow.
Because it's a very
Development, yeah. We've been going across
Yeah,
that bridge
yeah.
many times.
But before that, they only use like ships to transport the tea out
Right.
there, and because the shipping industry, because it's an island, sometimes the tea can reach overseas and and also reach other places here in China. But now also because of the bridge, and
Infrastructure has led to businesses being able to profit, able to get their products, goods off the island into the larger market.
Yeah.
It's a win-win.
Absolutely, yeah. 但是我们有这个，因为讲到种茶嘛，我们茶的历史有多久？
历史大概现在历史有50-60年。
就是说我们村子来做这个茶。
对。
So for this village, I mentioned for the locals, they discovered this tea about 800 years ago. But for this village, they've been growing it for about 50 to 60
50
years.
to 60, yes.
For as one of the major incomes for the village. By the way, the village is called like Hohayuan. It's like the backyard, the beautiful backyard.
The back, yeah.
They have, like,
it does feel like a backyard, you know. It's
a backyard of the ocean.
It's a backyard of a mountain on the ocean, on an island, essentially.
那我们之后的未来发展是怎样的？我们想过可能要把它做得更大啊，或者说是让更多的就是世界朋友能感受到我们的茶，有考虑过吗？
有，因为我们这个是我们在19年的时候是被评为那个全国一村一品那个茶叶，全国一村一品茶叶。然后呢
So basically back 我翻译一下。So back in 2019, so basically this tea has been selected as one specialty of this village, and it's a national like thing.
National representation of the
It's like there is a campaign here in China to pick one specialty product from each village, and the tea is.
They were at the
specialty.
forefront.
Yeah.
Well, there's probably some success for the future, as you were
Yeah,
saying.
yeah. 那之后还想怎么发展吗？
就是我们现在是在申请这个国家那个 SC 认证。
So a national license.
It's like a more standardized, and so that it can keep the quality going, and that it can actually be as a quality product.
One day maybe you'll move into bigger production.
Yeah.
那除了这个地方，你们还在哪里有可以怎么说？produce。
就是我们之后，就比如说，因为我了解到，就我们茶叶主要是在南澳岛嘛，
对。
就是有可能，比如说我们之后建厂建到别的地方嘛，就我们做深加工的时候是去别的地方，还是我们就要在当地去做？
在当地。
就现在只想的就是当地的。
现在当地。
只有一个地方。
So they are only thinking about like doing it right now.
Okay.
Yeah. But the last because we're running out of time, but I have my last question is about is there any relations between the sea and the tea drinking culture here? 就是我们怎么能就比如因为我们还是个岛嘛，我们的海洋文化和我们的当地的饮茶有什么关系吗？有任何的关系吗？
因为我们这个岛呢是那个无工业污染的，所以呢，在这个岛上这个茶叶，我们这个茶叶是有机茶叶，是有机茶叶，是没有污染的一个有机茶叶。
而且是不是我们这个其实因为有海风，也比较适宜我们的茶叶的生长？
因为这个主要是湿度，是主要湿度，因为我们这个海拔是500米左右的那个海拔，相当于内地可能要到800米的海拔，因为我们这边的雾气比较重，所以特别适合种这个茶叶。
Okay, I'm going to translate that for our viewers. Super quickly. So basically, we've been talking about, for tides of change, we've been tracking ocean economy, but then even growing tea can be relevant to ocean, the sea culture here. It's because it's on an island, because of the breeze, it's because it's surrounded by ocean.
The climate
here, the humidity, and often it's foggy, and that's crucial for tea leaves because what's a quality is like it soaks the aroma, the flavor from the fog. And because it's on an island, and the altitude requirement for tea growing here is only half of that in landlocked regions.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's
small benefit.
Yeah.
To growing. Okay.
To make this premium, keep its quality. But I think we're running out of time. And
thank our
guys. Thank you so much.
谢谢你们.
But now, even though our section is about to end, but we have some. Thank you so much. We have more colleagues. And we're going to get out of the rural area, and we're going to get
somewhere really modern.
Yeah, to somewhere that is
futuristic city.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be throwing to them.
Absolutely, we're going to fly over to Shenzhen
to Team A.
To Team A, to our colleagues over there. They're on a boat. They're having the beautiful sky line and skyscrapers, all the neon lights there, and of course, big thanks to our crew, crews over there. Crew. We have our camera person. They've been working very hard, very, very hard.
Thank you so much. Enjoy Shenzhen, guys.
And take it over.
Close off Tides of Change. Goodbye.
Yes. Goodbye.
All right. Welcome to the very last segment of the very last episode from this season of Tides of Change. We have come to Shenzhen. Welcome to Shenzhen. I'm CGTN reporter Zhao Yunfei.
I'm Serena with the CGTN.
Hello, welcome everyone. My name is Jason Lightfoot.
Okay, we have thought a long time where our final destination should be, and then we picked Shenzhen because this is an energetic city, this is a young city, this is a city that actually can tell China's future.
Exactly.
So to be more precisely, where we are at is the Qianhai Gulf.
Yeah, as you probably mentioned, it has been 4 decades since Shenzhen was designated as the special economic zone of China. From that onset, there's a lot of liberalized economic policies that has been helping the city to open up more of its market. And speaking of that, where we are right now is called the Qianhai Gulf. And right behind us, you can take a closer look.
There are a lot of construction behind us. You can see some of the building is still under construction.
Yeah, and those buildings are actually one of these incubators here in Shenzhen. They're aiming to help, attract all these entrepreneurs and all these startup companies from Hong Kong. So, they've put much of the focus on technology and hardware and etc. And according to the data shows just in the first half of 2020, there are more than 200 companies has been incubated here.
And speaking of the, gate to Hong Kong people, we're talking about the Greater Bay Area because for Hong Kongers, Shenzhen is a port to open the Chinese mainland market. But for Shenzhen, those young people here in Shenzhen, Hong Kong has a lot more, potential for them to kind of, it's also a gate for them to go internationally. So this is a really good trade-off.
And thanks to all these massive infrastructures, especially like all these bridges connecting Shenzhen, Macau, and Hong Kong.
Yeah.
So that makes their life much easier. So they can like travel, like commute back and forth.
So what do you know about Shenzhen, Jason?
Yeah, I know that it used to just not 30, 40 years ago, used to just be a small fishing village. And today it has transformed into a mega high-tech hub. And you can see behind us this kind of futuristic metropolis that we can see. And I know that the research and development for Shenzhen makes up 5% of its GDP. Compare that to a global average of just 2%. And there are also 17,000 high-tech companies based here in Shenzhen.
Is this your first time here?
Yeah, this is my first time here.
And you basically, go ahead. How do you feel about your first time?
Yeah, it's a nice. I like all the tall skyscrapers, and it's a city that never sleeps. It's non-stop. Yeah, I like it. It's good.
Yeah, well, the night is still young, so we still have much more time to spend. Well, you just mentioned about how fast Shenzhen has developed. There's a term over here called Shenzhen speed. And all the beginning, like when we talk about 40 years ago, the Shenzhen speed is all about construction. How tall the building they could construct within such a period of time.
Yes.
And now Shenzhen speed has a new meaning that how fast they can develop their technology, cutting edge technology. A lot of companies were here. For example, we visited Huawei yesterday, their headquarters in Shenzhen, and many other companies also incubated from here.
Yeah, like the tech giant Tencent. I believe they're based in Shenzhen.
Definitely, the mother company of WeChat.
Yes.
So there's a lot more, and just to give you, the general idea of behind us. Now, guess what's the average age of Shenzhen people, Shenzhen residents?
What do you mean by average age?
So if you put the average age of the entire for those residents who live in Shenzhen.
Ah. So you're trying to say since Shenzhen is so young.
It's so young, but I have the data. So take a guess. How?
You go first.
30?
30?
Yeah.
You don't think about elderlies? People at the age of 60 or 70.
Probably just the millennial generation.
Millennial generation. You mean 20?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. The correct answer is a little bit more than 30 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
You win.
Incredible. Incredible. That's why it's the youngest city of this country, and that's why it's open to any new possibilities.
Yes.
Over here in Shenzhen, there's no discrimination. There's a fairly amount of fairness, and if you work hard, you can get good rewards.
Yeah, it's like they said nothing is impossible here in Shenzhen, like, to build up your Chinese dream, to like pursue your career, like anything could happen here basically in this young city.
Yes, so that actually comes to the point of why we want to tell you through this episode of Tides of Change is how people's lives have changed over time due to China's deep sea exploration. I want to ask you, what's your what impressed you most?
Yes, there's been a lot on this trip that I got to experience. I just want to say thank you to CGTN for it, so I could, because it's been an amazing trip. It's been insane. I went to the Yangpu Free Trade Port, and I got to see the huge, massive container cranes and see this port developing into a new gateway for foreign investment into China. I saw the Wenchang Space Launch Center, where China's future space stations will be launched from. I went to the arcaded streets of Haikou. I experienced a place just steeped in history. I tried so many different kinds of food, delicacies. I was in Guangxi. I tried sea worms. I was quite afraid at first, but it actually wasn't that bad. I sailed on a luxury yacht in Sanya Bay. Just so many things. I woke up at 2 a.m. In Hainan to experience the hustle and bustle of an authentic seafood market, and I was able to talk to the fishermen there and listen to their stories, listen to their sacrifice that they've made, because 4 to 5 months of the year, and they will not go out fishing to ensure that the ecosystems and fish populations can recover and that future generations of fishermen can carry on fishing. Yeah, so I've seen a lot of change and development across all of these coastal provinces, and I just want to say thank you to be able to see that with your own eyes. It was great.
That's absolutely a breathtaking adventure that we have experienced in the past 14 days. And we want to take this opportunity to thank you for your company for our season 1 of Tides of Change. And please do stay tuned on CGTN for season 2 and season 3 of Tides of
where
Change.
we're gonna go
Travel
to
far north along the China
along the
coastline.
Yes.
So, all right, that concludes this edition of Tides of Change. Thank you so much, and good luck to all of you.
Stay tuned with CGTN.
Take
Bye.
care.
See you
Bye
next
bye.
time.